I've seen a lot of people, including myself, forgetting about the tactics, combat tactics in Hearts of Iron 4. I've seen fellow YouTubers make the mistake of comparing two seemingly equal battles and drawing conclusions from it, even though tactics will ruin every similarities between battles because of the randomness of it. Uh, I think that's the thing with tactics, and the thing that makes people forget about or not really implementing it in their plans. The randomness of it. You're not sure exactly what kind of tactics you get, if you at all know what tactics does. There are four things that tactics does, and it can affect uh, your attacking damage. It can affect the defender's damage. It can change the combat width of your battle, and it can also affect movement speed in combat, the tactics movement. And the tactics movement I talked about 2 weeks ago. What happens in a battle is that you lose 67% of your speed. As soon as you're in battle, you lose 67% of your speed. And this tactics movement only works when you're in combat to counter that negative modifier, which means that you move a lot faster and you have the possibility to surround. And that's why I would say Blitz and Breakthrough are two of the really, really great tactics out there. If you're playing tanks and you want to surround your enemy and kill them, and you always want to surround your enemy and kill them. So yeah, great tactics. Uh, Quite straightforward if you understand the movement speed mechanics, and they are great. The attacker tactics damage, yes, the plain modifier. If you're attacking, the attacker gets it. It could be negative, it could be positive. It depends on the tactic. And the defender tactics damage is yeah, a negative or positive damage modifier for the defender. Doesn't affect anything else. And the last one, which is really interesting, is combat width. You can affect combat width. If you look at guerrilla warfare here, you can lower it by 50%, but you can also use like mass charge to increase the combat width by 50%. So if we look at the combat here, we're attacking from onto a forest which has a combat width of 60 with an additional 30 for each flanking attack. And if we look at this bubble, we have a flanking attack. I think we need to just go down here. We're going from two sides here. Uh, we should be able to get 90 in combat width in there, but we have mass charge in place here, so we get that tactics combat width plus 50%. The thing is, it only affects one attack point, so it doesn't affect from each tile. So the first attack point, which gives uh, 60 in combat width, that will be increased by 50% up to 90. And the flanking attack still just gives an extra 30. And these two are really, really nice. Just increasing the combat width when attacking, or like guerrilla warfare, lowering the combat width when you are defending. With that said, I just want to take a short moment to say that most of you watching this are not yet subscribed to the channel. So please take your time and like and subscribe to get more amazing Hearts of Iron 4 content with a new guide every Monday. And for our Patreons, of course, the extra guide every second week. And we also have the great multiplayer studio covering our grand games and a lot more stuff coming out. So the next week, Barry will release a new video. And for the Patreon guide this Thursday, I will talk about a new exploit I found and some other tricks that you can pull off. So how do you and your enemy get tactics in combat? The first thing is that it's a phase of 12 hours. So you begin the battle and choose a tactic, and then every 12 hour a new tactic will be chosen. Uh, and you will do a skill roll, which one who chooses the tactics first. And you don't want to choose tactics first, because if your opponent chooses a tactic, you might be able to counter that tactic. Like if your opponent has to choose first and he chooses Blitz, you will have a bigger possibility to choose Elastic Defense, which counter out that Blitz, which gives it a big X. And the Blitz won't do anything, but your counter tactic will give you the benefits of it. But let's rewind a little bit and see how you even get tactics. Because in the start, you have no special tactics. You have some tactics called defend or attack or something like that. They're pretty bad. You can't use them as a preferred tactics because they're pretty bad. But as soon as you move down the doctrines, you get new tactics. Like the first one in mobile warfare, you get unexpected thrust, you gain blitz a little bit further down, you get breakthrough down here. Some tactics are the same in all trees. You get blitz from, I think, every tree. I think you have blitz here down in mass assault. You probably have it somewhere here. Yeah, that's the blitz from Grand Battle Plan. But but there's also some of them who are unique for the trees, like this mass charge. I think that's the only place you can find it. And the guerrilla tactics down here. So there are a lot of things that you really can go down and plan for when using tactics. But that's where you found tactics. Another really important thing is the prerequisites to actually get a tactics firing. If you look at the Blitz here, for an example, you see a whole list of things that's important. If important, it's necessary for this tactics to fire in battle. So one of the really interesting things here are hardness over 50%. When they have this kind of prerequisite, it means that of all units in battle, the hardness needs to be over 50%. So if you attack with a few tanks that are really hard, has a hardness of 80%, and throw in a lot of infantry in that, you will lose the ability to get the blitz. So hardness are for all units, and that's extremely important to know. And I don't think how many people know that out there. I didn't before I really started diving into this. So that's one thing to really understand how that works. Uh, it also needs one of the following down there. You need a skill level more than 2, or have the Panzer leader trait or a skill advantage of 1. So you always need to figure out if you want a tactic, what's necessary for that tactics to fire to actually be usable in battle. So that's really, really important to check out. And the comparison between generals just looks at their skill. Like in this battle, they are level 4 and level 4. It's a tie, and ties always go to the defenders. But the next thing that comes into this is that the general with the highest recon value of one of their units in the battle gets +5 in this comparison. And +5 is a lot when you're talking about generals and their level. So having the highest recon value are extremely important to get the right tactics against you, because it doesn't just decide who wins. You also get an increased chance of having that tactics uh, by the weight with 35%. And I won't go deep into that, but 35% for each extra plus you have. If you have 1 over, you have 35% extra. If you have 5 over, you have 5 times 35% extra chance of getting that in the weight comparison, which is huge. So this is really important, and it just requires 1 unit. So your entire army doesn't have to have recon for this comparison. 1 unit in the battle that has the highest recon value will give +5 in this comparison. And this is huge because you can counter the enemy tactics, so you get a lot of bonuses and they don't. But to sum it up, tactics are great and there's a lot of uses for them. They can modify attack, combat width, and combat speed. Having one great recon unit will give you a much better chance of having the tactics on your side and countering the enemy tactics. You really need to check the prerequisites if you want to have a tactic firing. Because if you don't have the prerequisites like the hardness in place, you won't get the tactics you want firing. And since I try to keep the length of the videos down, I will make this a two-parter, but please write in the comment if you like longer guides or think as me, short and compressed is better. In 2 weeks, I will release the next part and we'll dive deeper into some great tactics that you can use and how you can use them when you plan your build to affect the battlefield. We'll also talk about the weight system, how that really works between different tactics and how you can use that to your advantage with those preferred tactics choices you can do, and some other interesting things. We'll also look into the phases of tactics. I'm always amazed how deep Paradox Games goes. But that's in 2 weeks. I hope you enjoyed this. Like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.